You are now watching the Ken and Dunn Show with yours truly, Donald Seymour, the greatest host and the greatest with the most, and
And
also Kenyak
yeah,
Johnson.
you can just call me Ken. Just I'll just go by Ken, man. I don't answer to nothing else. All right, just know
All
that
right.
you can call me Special K. You can call me Ken Dog, but nothing outside of that. All right.
I think we're gonna leave the special K alone, but Ken Dog, that's what we go by. Dunn D. Seymour, yours truly. We are coming to you right now
Ooh. All
about
right.
the woo, about the automotive industry, and that's what we are about. We are about presenting you a comprehensive understanding about the automotive industry. We are
No.
essentially Kenya and I are essentially automotive analysts, right? We are essentially data analysts, right? And
I'm
so
the
we
only one.
analyze
So.
the market. And so, without further ado, we're going to get into this topic, right? And the topic is monster, right? We're going to hit this
Okay.
topic and we're going to hit this topic hard. Now, we just seen this new concept, Kenya, right? You are aware of this new teaser
Well,
that they
it's a teaser. Yeah.
it's a teaser. Question, okay. First off, Kenya, what you think about this teaser?
We can't see anything, so I can't really speak on it. Okay, I can tell you what I think it could. We already know that it's going to be a four door. Okay,
Yeah.
so we know that. Hopefully, it's going to look as good as the Vision Coupe did in 2019. We'll see, but we know it's a four door. That's exciting. That's great. Hopefully, it's a replacement for the Mazda 6. Hopefully, it's rear wheel drive and not some front wheel drive nonsense. Okay, we don't want that no more. We ain't going backwards. We're going forward, Mazda. Rear wheel drive from here on out, except for the CX-30 and the Mazda 3 and the CX-5. Okay, everything else needs to be rear wheel drive now, Mazda. You spoiled us with the CX-90, okay, and the CX-60. Okay, so what do I think about this? Well, we don't know. One, it could be a technology demonstrator or a technology study that they just want to show maybe some new powertrain technology or something like that, or some kind of flex fuel car that uses biofuels and stuff like that. It could be that, or it could preview future design language for the brand.
Mm.
So hopefully it's previewing future design language for the brand.
Okay. My first initial thoughts when I first saw it, I was like, is this the Monster 3 on steroids? That's what it looked like with the seat pillar,
It,
right?
it, I can see
What you
that.
about to say something?
I can see that. I can see it maybe being a next generation three,
Oh,
because
okay,
it looks
okay.
like a three hatchback. It looks like it could be that, but we
Yeah, yeah,
don't know. We
yeah.
don't know.
Now,
Maybe it's another Vision Coupe. I hope it's a Vision Coupe. Okay, but we don't know what they're gonna do. Um, I, I they, look. I'm gonna let you speak first. I'll
okay,
be quiet
so
right now.
honestly, my first initial thoughts, my first initial impressions of it was it might be the next year, the next model Monster 3, right? That's my first thought process. However, upon further inspection, it looks like it might be a four-door coupe sedan.
Mm-hmm.
And I could be
Hopefully,
wrong.
it's
Now, the next question is, are they going to use that inline six as a rear engine layout? That's the
that's
next
the question.
question,
You
Ken.
you want me to answer it now, or you want to
Yeah,
answer
go ahead.
first?
Go ahead.
I would say as hard wishful thinking in a perfect world, yes. The fans have been calling for it. The Mazda fans, the Mazda customers who own Mazdas, who love Mazdas, who love the CX-90 platform and love the way that SUV drives, definitely want to see that inside of a sedan the size of a CT5, okay, a
Mm,
Cadillac CT5. The thing that you have to worry about is Mazda is doing their research and they're looking at vehicles like the Kia Stinger and they're looking at vehicles like the
mm,
Acura TLX and they're looking at that and saying, well, if it did not, if it didn't work for Acura and it didn't work for Kia, how's it going to work for Mazda, who, for one, does not have quite the premium badge that Acura has? How are we going to make this a successful business model? How are we going to make this project successful? How are we going to get a return on investment if we do make a rear-wheel drive inline six with 340 horsepower in a sedan the size of a Cadillac CT5? Now, it works for Cadillac. Somehow Cadillac has figured out the proper formula for that to work, because apparently they're satisfied with the sales of the CT5 because it's
It's going to
gaining
continue.
another generation model, and the CT4, which has failed, is not.
Okay, why? Okay,
So
before let's deviate slightly. Why did the CT4 fail? Is one reason why.
I think the CT4 initially, for one thing, priced way too close to the CT5 initially. It was priced way too close to the CT5, and it just didn't offer enough. It didn't have the overall material and build quality. Um, and it just wasn't it. I think it was underrated a little bit, but I think people's initial um, taste of it was just, it was priced a few $1,000s less than a CT5, and it just didn't really make any sense to get it. So
Okay,
instead of
granted,
just getting a CT5,
here's
you
the
know,
issue with the CT4. Let me interject this: the sizing, right?
yeah, it
It
was the
it
size
it
of it.
the issue with the
Well,
CT4
well,
was the size issue,
but you have
and
to think.
yeah,
You have to think. There's an Audi A3. There's a Mercedes CLA. There's a BMW 2 Series.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
2 Series is an exception. That's a bit bigger. But still, you have those models. The A3 is successful, right? Is the A3 successful, or is it a failure?
Listen. And I think we go about. I know where your heart is at, Kenyon, right now. Your
I'm not
heart
being
is
biased.
no. Your heart is based on pure metrics and pure data. I agree with that. But I also understand another data that is not being representative in this room, and that's people natural bias. The reason why the CT5 is so successful is because of its pricing strategy versus the BMW 3 Series versus the BMW 5 Series, right? It
But
it it really does size wise almost pretty much competes with the 5 Series, but it's kind of slots between the 3 Series and the 5 Series. And
but
it
it's
does
priced
it
like a 3 Series.
exactly, and it does it well. You
It,
cannot price the CT4 nowhere near the Audi or the Mercedes or the BMW. And that's the issue. And so, and why is that? Because it's a preconceived notion. It's not of the exact same stilk or statics as those brands. And so people are naturally badge whores when it comes to selecting vehicles, right? And that's why the Cadillac CT5 won out because of the pricing strategy, right? And that's why the CT4 lost. The pricing strategy wasn't there. People, and plus, people are just conditioned to like certain brands just because of the nameplate. So, and
yeah,
that's why I honestly believe the CT4 lost out is the pricing and the sizing. And the
I think
sizing
it's.
wasn't bad, but for the price range in that bracket,
I
it
think it should
falls
have been
short.
starting less than 29 grand, because I think it starts off at what, 29 grand or 30 grand, somewhere around that.
Mid 30. I think it's a mid 30 type
It
situation.
used to be, priced. It used to be priced closer, but I think they came out with some base trims, and they lowered the base price of it so that it wouldn't be priced so close to a CT5. But
Yeah,
uh, I
I was
think
right.
that,
Mid 30s.
yeah, so it's still in the mid 30s. So you're thinking that it should be priced maybe at 30,000 or at 29,000. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I think the starting price should be about 30, 29,000 to 30. And I think it's reasonable, right? If you don't want to do 29, just do 30. All like fully loaded kitted out. Because you have to
Now it's,
understand.
now it's going there towards a Honda Civic, which is price was overpriced to me.
Well,
Uh,
yeah. But you also have to understand that Honda Civic is also playing into the tradition that Japanese models tend to be reliable. So that's another issue. So I think you have to know who you are. And I say this all the time with a lot of car companies. You need to know who you are, and that's humility. Don't go beyond that point, right? Beyond that point is failure. Cadillac felt that they can compete and they can be comparable to Audi and BMW and Mercedes. You can't, right? The car is too tiny. Okay, let me say this. Let
well,
me say this.
well, look,
Let me say
it's
this.
not that small compared. A CT4 is not that small compared. It's actually it's bigger than the A3.
Listen. Let me say this. I want to make this very clear about the A3, the BMW 2 Series, um, the CLA. All of those vehicles are not worth their price at all. Period. You are better off getting the Honda Accord than getting any of those vehicles, right? But that's what comes with the prestige and the pedigree of that nameplate. People are just suckers for a nameplate, and that's it.
True.
So what I'm saying about the CT4 is bigger than a lot of its counterparts. But if we put the CT4 in a vacuum space, Kenya, the CT4 got to stand on its own. And people are not, they're going to think it's too tiny for the price. Right? And so, because it doesn't have that pedigree or that nameplate that a lot of people are willing to become a bass whore for. I think once Cadillac really start climbing up and creating vehicles that's going to knock our socks out outside of the Escalade, I think.
Well,
But go ahead, Kenya.
I mean, it's I, I still uh I still think it's just more than the size and price. I think it's just the overall product.
I can agree.
It wasn't a good deal. I mean, mid 30,000. I agree. It should be lower than that.
Yeah,
32,000. Something like that.
yeah.
No more than that. Um, that's what I think. So I agree with you, and I think it should be a little nicer on the inside too, compared
Mm-hmm.
to its German counterparts.
Okay.
So that's what I think it is. The CT5 is a bit different. So, but I think just to get back on track,
Monster.
Mazda is looking at these things and they're analyzing, and so we know that the fans are. We know that the fans are one. They're clamoring for a Mazda 6 return, rear-wheel drive, inline six, 340 horsepower. It'll be a rocket ship, a blast, absolute blast to drive. But how can they get the kind of success that the CT5 is getting
Mm.
with the Mazda badge? Or will they end
Mm.
up failing like the Kia Stinger and the Acura TLX?
Okay, Kenya. I want this. First of all, that was a great analyst question. It's not always the answers that we can give. It's the questions that we pose that shows intelligent. And Kenya, that is the epitome. And once we find the answer to that, we can replicate the success. If we look at Cadillac rule book or game plan, it's practicing again this key component, humility. is practicing, at least with the CT5. So it understand that, okay, ultimately we are not on the 5 Series level, but
Right.
we can make 5 Series proportions and size with the price
At
of
a
the
compact price.
exactly.
Right.
That's how you undercut and establish yourself in the market. Now, the next CT5 can be more dynamic and a slight price increase, right? On the bottom line, on the base price. Mazda can take that same business model and replicate that. If Mazda bring a Mazda 6 to the marketplace that is sexy, that is dynamic, with the same price range as a CT5, but
They have to be lower though,
or
a little bit.
a hair a little bit lower, keyword dynamic, they can be successful.
And
They can
here's the
be.
thing: the Acura TLX was supposed to be the same kind of business model as a CT5, but they
Mm,
failed. Why? It was about three sizes down on the inside. Considering that its footprint is bigger than the 3 Series, it's bigger than the C Class, it's bigger than the Lexus IS. It was priced like those, but on the inside, it was no
mm,
bigger than a G70 or IS, but its footprint was the size of a 5 Series.
that's crazy.
And it was heavy. It was heavy. That's another thing. And it just, it's like, okay, why not just get a Lexus IS, rear wheel drive, fun, V8, same price.
Yeah,
And it just made more sense to do that than to be driving around a vehicle that had a really large front hood, a long front overhang, and its wheelbase was long, considering the size that it had inside its cabin. It was the size of like a CT4. And
that's
so
crazy.
it just didn't make sense. The Acura Integra has more space, and so why should I go and get a
Oh,
TLX when the Acura Integra literally? I really thought that these people were talking nonsense when they said this, but they were actually telling the truth when they said that the Integra and the Civic have more space than a bigger vehicle, which is supposed to be a class higher. And so that's why the TLX failed. I know that's
mm.
why it failed. That's exactly why it's failed. It
I
handles
wanna.
great, it accelerates great, it's all-wheel drive, but it's the big flaw. People love space in a compact sized vehicle. It
That's
sells.
yeah.
The Integra is the best selling vehicle in its class. It's better selling the CLA. It sells better than the A3. It sells better than the CT4. It sells better than the 2 Series. It sells better than all of them. Integra is one of the most popular vehicles, if not the most popular in its class, because it provides you a compact size or subcompact size and a larger, almost mid-size space. It has more
Mm.
space than the TLX did. So um,
That's crazy
it
though.
just it didn't make as much sense, and the TLX was heavy as heck. And so
Yeah,
hopefully Maz is looking at this and learning these lessons.
yeah.
Hopefully,
That's crazy.
because
It,
you can make it successful. Cadillac did it with the CT5. It can be done.
they have to work on the packaging, and I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kenya, but I don't think this reminds me of the Ford Taurus. Remember when the Ford Taurus came out back in the 2000s, and they had the Ford Fusion, right? And the Ford Taurus was a level higher, a class higher than the Ford Fusion. However, the Ford Taurus was literally almost just a hair bigger than the Ford Fusion in the ergonomics in the cabin, right? But his footprint was a lot bigger, which
Exactly.
is, do
Doesn't
you
make
think
sense.
that is a reason for that, and I could be wrong. Do you think the reason for that is, excuse me, the front engine, front wheel drive architecture? Do you think it's the packaging that may cause that?
Talking about the TLX or the
Yeah,
Ford Fusion and Taurus.
the Ford Taurus and the TLX. Do you think it's the packaging of the engine that
If
may
anything, if anything, front wheel drive should. Most of those
have?
cars that are front engine, front wheel drive have actually more space than
Yeah.
their rear wheel drive counterparts. So
So
both the TLX and the Integra were front wheel drive, but their packaging was just totally different. What Acura was going for with the TLS was looks. They wanted a certain proportion to that vehicle, and
and
so
that's my thing.
it ended up just making it impractical. So that was his downfall, you know.
Yeah,
So the
yeah, yeah,
CT5 was done correctly. Like that was just done right. It just shows that if you do a sedan right, they can still thrive in this era that we're in, this SUV era.
yeah. Definitely, definitely. I definitely agree. So here's the question, and we're gonna tilt into another topic briefly. It's gonna be a fun closure for us. But here's another question that we initially posed: is Monster creating this to be a demonstrator, or is actually going to, because Monster has a track record now as a late. They do a lot of concepts, but they're not putting anything out there. And so
Well,
that's become problematic.
t- the three that made it to production. So I mean, what?
And
Because you remember the Kai concept?
yeah,
That's the Mazda 3 hatchback.
I mean, okay.
But the Vision Coupe was what we really wanted. That didn't make
Hmm.
it.
And if they did that,
The
I
RX
think,
Vision didn't make it either. But we already know why
ooh,
that didn't make
yeah,
it.
if they did
That
that, something so sexy and something so dynamic will sell. Period. In the story, right? The right proportions for the right price, it's going to sell. Period. In the story. Um, that being said, will market will Monster move up market? Um,
I think they're going to continue marching up further and further up market and closing that gap with Acura.
they
If
have,
not,
yes,
if they, in terms of build quality, material quality, I think they are
they're there.
there, but they have to add like certain small creature comforts. We
Yeah,
don't
like a
want 8-way power seats anymore. I want 12-way.
yeah,
Okay. I want some adjustable side bolstering and an extended thigh cushion, Mazda. If you hear me, Mazda,
and
okay.
adaptable suspension, and
And adaptable dampers at least.
yeah,
Okay, you hear me, Mazda? Now, adaptable dampers are more expensive, but the adjustable seats, that's really cheap.
yeah.
Um, they can do that, but the question is, do they want to? Right now, they're just about where Buick is in the marketplace. Um, if you fully load a CX90, it's 65 grand. A fully loaded Buick Enclave is 66. I've done it. Um, so they're just about there. They're going to continue closing that gap with Acura, but they won't go past Acura. I don't think they should. But they will close that gap with Acura.
I think they will surpass. I have to disagree with you on that
They're
because
not going to
as
surpass
as
Acura
you as you
because they got
know,
a Mazda badge.
listen, as you know, I drive a Monster, right? My wife drives one. So that being said, I think give it at least 2 more years, 2 to 3 years, they're going to surpass Acura. Now,
They're
not
not going
by
to surpass Acura.
listen, listen,
They're going to
listen,
catch up to them, but not surpass them.
listen, not by
The,
much.
a
Not
fully
I'm
loaded
not
MDX is 74, 75 grand. Mazda's got a ways to go before they have all the features that an MDX offers on a
okay,
CX90.
point taken. Point
Okay,
taken.
so
Okay,
I'm just
point
saying.
taken. Point taken. All right, moving along. Um, yeah, and my whole point of Monster moving up market. I do believe that they have the legs to do so. I do believe they have the infrastructure to do so. To be honest, even going to the dealership and that whole experience is up market for me. And I'm just being honest. I'm not being biased because I own a product of Mazda. I'm just being genuinely honest that the treatment, the chauffeur, um, all the accoutrements that are afforded to me at the dealership, yeah, it
Yeah.
it feels up market. Now, Kenya, have you seen the new Mercedes concept?
Yeah, the long hood
Yeah,
and the yeah, the long hood. I've seen it. It's a good design language study. I think it looks good. I think it looks like it's in a good way a cartoon, right?
yeah, like Batman, like the Batmobile.
Batman, like one of them cars they drive in Gotham City. If you're a
Yeah,
higher ranking citizen,
Art
um,
Deco style
yeah,
design. Yeah.
looks like that in a good way. So I like it. I saw
Question.
some other fan art of like what they think a S class is gonna look like based off of that
Yeah,
design.
yeah,
Man,
yeah,
it
yeah,
looked
yeah.
good. So
Okay, so you seen Sugar Design? That's the guy name, the fan art. Question, and we're gonna leave out on this. Do you think Mercedes have the balls to implement this design like Sugar Design, like the fan art design that you
I
seen?
it might
Yes.
not be like the fan art though, because
Do
I've
you
rarely
think
ever.
they have the balls to do that though?
They had the balls to do it.
No,
Mercedes
they
had.
don't. I disagree. Go ahead.
Mercedes has what? They have that. Well, look. I mean,
You
they
talking
have
about
done
the
it.
same people who made EQS?
That's the EQS, man. When has Mercedes ever made anything ugly?
Oh my God! Listen, Kenya, listen.
The
At,
EQS is exception.
as of late, Mercedes have not been dynamic in their designs. Now with their sport cars, yeah, I can give you that. But when it comes to their sedans, nah,
The CLA, you don't like it? The C
nah,
class,
nah.
no.
CK's alright, but
Yeah, I
the
mean,
S class, yeah, I think
the S
if they
class has
want,
been great. It's
and
been great.
it's
It's
not a
just the
bad looking.
inside of it. It's
It's
the
not.
inside of it that's where it failed. It completely
That's
failed
true.
at.
That's true. It's not a bad looking car, but it doesn't make me want to go out and buy it like the Genesis. So
Yeah, I know
yeah,
you love your Genesis,
yeah.
man.
So yeah.
Yeah, the
All right,
G90. You cannot be separated from your G90, man.
all right. We gonna call it. We gonna call it quits for today. We gonna be back this week. This is the Ken and Dunn Show. Thank you for tuning in on IG, YouTube. Leave the comments um in the uh in the
And
comment
throw a
sections.
right straight down the pipe and subscribe if you like. All
Exactly.
right?
This is the Ken and Dunn Show. Peace. We are out.
Peace.